So what about the other types? You talk about my rational theorist mind there, that yes, obviously I'll go away and think about it for a week afterwards and
Yeah, you will.
pull it apart. Like what's going to really help the other, let's say it's in terms of temperament groups, for instance. Um, what's going to help those other groups?
So our improvisers, and I think we've probably had the least number of improvisers come to any type conferences, and I think that's predominantly because, well, improvisers and stabilizers, both of whom, as you know, share the sensing preference, one extroverted sensing, one introverted sensing. I think for our improvisers, they need it to be hands-on quickly. They need it to be fun. They need it to be moving around. They need it chunked so they can say, I've got this chunk digested. I've got this chunk, act on it. And the whole save your questions till later does not work for our improvisers, because as soon as you say save your questions for later, they're gone. Okay, well,
Mm.
so making it, I mean, their focus is probably going to be much more on the data gathering and the active testing, and they're going to speed through some of that, maybe reflection and creation, depending on introvert or extroverting, but to make it really hands-on for them. So as much as you can use props and movement and visuals and videos and keep it varied. Um, for our stabilizers, it's tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them you told them. Use some good concrete examples, link back to the past that are relevant. I mean, both for improvisers and stabilizers, they need relevant examples, because for theorists and catalysts, they can take a concept and instinctively know where the concrete application is. With improvisers and stabilizers, the more we're explicit rather than implicit, the better. And for our stabilizers, being organized, getting there early. Um, if looks like we're going to run late, or we're not covering the agenda in the right time frame, explain to them why, because they'll be worrying for you because, oh, well, we should be here now and we're not. So for our theorists who talked about a little bit, for our catalyst, I think being genuine, authentic, showing how the concepts relate to people, although they're instinctively going to do that. Again, psychologically safe, a social learning environment. All of those things work. And, I mean, when you think about credibility, the improviser, you gain credibility if you're impressive. If you do what you say if you say you're going to be a facilitator and then lecture for 10 minutes, you've lost the plot and they're gone. For stabilizers, being concrete and practical. For theorists, they're going to look for competence. So you do have to have that competence there, and that you don't need to talk about it, but you could have books around, or someone else can introduce you, or you could share a bio. And as catalysts, they want a genuine relationship, and they'll pick up if you're being inauthentic with them. So it's
Mm.
that genuine interest. So
That's interesting. It's interesting. You can work around competence with the props and things. If I wear a pair of glasses, for instance, I can automatically raise my competency level. There's certain ways that you can do that. I mean, this is the thing, because I mean, certain types kind of excel in certain areas of life, and
they do.
I have to be hands up. I'm never gonna match a lot of other types in their area of that they've been drawn to their whole lives. Day
Yeah.
to day for their whole lives. For instance, the extroverted sensing world. I am not going to match them in their particular domain of,
No.
Whatever that indulgence of the senses might be. So I guess, like you said, you've got to try and fake it a bit sometimes.
Yeah. And just sort of constantly think, have I done something to get it out there in the sensory universe? Have I brought in something from the past recently for the recalling? Have I given a team activity where they got an opportunity to be creative? Have I been clear enough about the overall outcome, the H in teach? Have I been systematic enough for those who have extroverted thinking? Am I getting those really good critical questions that show actually anyone with introverted thinking is tuned in? And of course, I'm fine with how's the harmony in the group, because I cannot not read that. That's always there. And then, you know, is there any, how are we doing in terms of being inclusive and making sure we don't cross anybody's values? So it's sort of that in their head all the time, is those 8 cognitive processes. How are we balancing all of those?